If you had any plans this summer to start booking flights for potential Champions League fixtures next season, scrap them. Chelsea are not making the Champions League next season. I said that earlier in the live stream. I'm going to say it again. A lot of these issues of why we're not going to make Champions League are down to the manager, Enzo Maresca, for some of the failings that he's caused himself over this season. And of course, as I said earlier in the live stream, we needed things to go our way today in terms of performances from other teams. We needed Everton to try and do us a favour. We needed Aston Villa not to win. We needed a point really in the Newcastle Villa game. And of course, Aston Villa smashed Newcastle 4-1. We are now currently 7th in the league. 7th in the league. It could get worse if we don't beat Fulham tomorrow. Fulham could end up almost, I think, 2 points behind us if we lose to them tomorrow. Bournemouth are on our tails. Brentford aren't that far behind either. We could theoretically end up with Conference League football if we don't win the Conference League. I'm smiling because I don't know what else to do, but if I'm being honest, this is a serious thing. And this is what I was talking about on the live stream earlier on today, is that I don't think we realize the reality of where we are as a football club. 2 sporting directors, 4 managers in the space of 3 years. £1.6 billion plus spent. Players brought in and sold within 12 months. Loan deals that don't make sense. This is a serious issue now at Chelsea Football Club. A club like Chelsea cannot even be settling for the Europa League. And the worst thing is, we're playing Fulham. We're playing Fulham in a time when, yes, they haven't won as many games as they should have done in the last 5 or 6 games. But this is a Fulham team that beat Liverpool at Craven Cottage 3-2. They beat Tottenham. They drew away with United in the FA Cup, but actually went through. Dangerous to play Fulham. Dangerous to play Fulham. I actually thought they played really good football against Bournemouth last Monday. Iwobi played brilliantly. Castagna, Robertson, Muniz, Pereira all play well for them. They are dangerous on the counter-attack. They're dangerous from set pieces. Now, we have a good record at Craven Cottage. Actually, I think they've only beat us once there. But I'm not going into this game with a whole heap of confidence, I'll be honest. I think this is a time when Maresca seriously has to step up to the plate. And I'm talking to the plate in terms of he needs to keep his job. If Enzo Maresca wants to keep his job, he has to play the right team tomorrow against Fulham. No more inverted fullbacks. We need to see the fullbacks overlapping. You can't put out the same team tomorrow, the same formation, the same tactics, and expect different results. Something has to change. And I was trying to say this earlier in the live stream. Something has to change with this manager. There has to be a flick of a switch, because if he doesn't, what I think will potentially happen is that Fulham will overload us, make us make so many mistakes defensively. I don't think we'll deal with the pace from the wide areas and the fullbacks that were going to be bombing forward for Fulham. I really don't. I said earlier it could be 4-0, 4-1, and I'm going to stick with that to Fulham. I think we could be in for a long afternoon. Kickoff is at 2:00. I'm probably going to be still sat here this time tomorrow as I'm recording at 8:00 on a Saturday evening. I could still be sat here stressed out tomorrow based on Chelsea. I don't see us getting goals. Now, the only way I think we will score a goal tomorrow is if Fulham have it again, a lapse in their defence as well. Or we change something tactically. We allow our fullbacks to overlap. Let our wider wingers tuck into the box, support Jackson with the service into the box, and allow the likes of Correa, Reece James if it's him, to overlap. The formation I'm going to show you shortly, I'm going to explain why, but we have to change something, because we're so easy to play against. It's either going to be a low block or a team that just hits us on the counter every single time, and our defense can't cope with that. Our goalkeeper cannot play it from the back. Fulham will do that. Fulham will cause us to make a lot of mistakes tomorrow if we're not careful. This is a Fulham team that isn't even in great form. As I said, they're 9th in the league. They've lost 3 out of their last 5 games, winning the other 2. But they're on 48 points. We're on 54 points. Villa are now on 57 points. Man City are now in the 4th position. Nottingham Forest still have a game in hand to play with the game on against Tottenham on Monday. If they win that gap is massive now. This is something that I think at the start of the season, at minimum, I remember saying it has to be Champions League. Anything above is a bonus. This is a failure of a season for Enzo Maresca. It's a failure of a season, whether you want to dress it up, however you want to dress it. It's a failure of a season. We were first in December. We're now sitting, I have to double check, we're 7th in the league. And we ain't even kicked a flipping ball today. Come on, man. This team stresses me out so much, but I'm telling you, he has to change something tactically tomorrow. He has to change something tactically. I'm going to show you my lineup now. So the lineup that I've gone with something slightly different. I have gone with this lineup simply because I feel like Enzo Maresca has to change something. Currently, we're playing 4-2-3-1. This isn't that too dissimilar to that, but we've gone with 4-1-2-3, which I think will give Caicedo the role that I think he can play very well. Now, there is a risk to that because obviously he is still on 9 yellow cards. I think he still runs the risk if he picks up a yellow card, he'll miss 2 games out of the remaining 5 or 6 fixtures we have. Now, I'll start from the back. I've gone with Robert Sanchez in goal, who I think will continue to be in goal for Chelsea as the goalkeeper. Enzo Maresca's keen on making sure he plays. Now, I've gone with Reece James. I'm going based on what I think I would play. Now, I know that Enzo Maresca will potentially rest Reece James based on what he said, that Reece James can't play more than 3 games a week, which he has been doing, Sunday, Thursday, Sunday. Now, if he doesn't play, then it's going to have to be, for me, Josh Ashiempong. Josh Ashiempong deserves an opportunity to play in this game tomorrow. Now, I think he'll either go with Gusto or potentially, again, he'll change things and put Chalobah as a right back again. But for me, trust your younger players. Trust the players that look like they're going to try and do something. Josh Ashiempong, for me, would be the starter over Malo Gusto if it is not Reece James. Now, I've gone through 2 of Levi Colwell and Chalobah. I think we're going to need some legs in those 2 centre-backs because, as I said, the counter-attacking press from Fulham will be there. It will be evident to see. And we need players, 2 centre-backs that are going to be able to cover the ground very quickly. The only thing I will say is that Colwell has a tendency to switch off at times when it's so critical and important for him not to do so. He has to be on his game tomorrow. We can't even slip. We can't afford to lose this game. Not even because, I'm not even talking about Champions League. I'm just talking about, in terms of the way that we played on Thursday, nothing but a win will do. Nothing but a win will do. Cucurella on the left. Again, Cucurella, for me, one of the best players that we have in the team. Left back, he has to be there. And I want to see him and Reece James overlapping, bombing down the wing. Now, the formation I've gone with, Caicedo will be the midfielder, the defensive midfielder. He'll be sat just in front of those 4 defenders. I think he can do the job there. Now, Enzo Maresca has to change something. That is the change that we need. We need Caicedo sat there, the holding midfielder. We need the 2 in front of him of Enzo Fernandez and Cole Palmer. 2 creatives. 2 creatives. Now, on the left side, I've gone with Tariq George. Again, that is a bit of a gamble, but I think Tariq George, again, deserves an opportunity. I think he offers more than Jadon Sancho. I think Madueke, you can tell he's been injured. He's coming back from an injury. So I would go with him. I would go with Tariq George, who has always put in a shift when he started in the Europa Conference League games. Why not test him against Fulham? Why not test him against potentially Castagna, right back? We've got to try something different. Now, I've gone with Pedro Neto on the right and I've gone with Nicholas Jackson down the middle. I think if we change things tactically, it just gives the opposition team something to think about. We can't just turn up and be the same as we was. We can't. Marco Silva will be rubbing his hands. His homework's done. He probably done his homework in 2 minutes. Exploit the wide areas from Chelsea. Make sure you target Robert Sanchez. And make sure you hit us on a counter-attack. That's what he's got to do. It's so easy to play against us. Enzo Maresca has to change things. And the reason I've gone with the formation I've gone with it gives us more options off the bench as well. We do have Jadon Sancho. We do have Noni Madueke. We have the opportunity to switch it back to a 4-2-3-1 if it's not working. You can push Cole Palmer higher up the pitch and bring Enzo back into that midfield with Caicedo. But I think we have to change something and allow Enzo the opportunity to do what he done in the game a couple of weeks ago and drive into the box, that last minute burst into the box to score a header. We have to see him do those kind of runs again. And I think if we do use the fullbacks to their full potential and allow Tariq George, allow Noni Madueke or Pedro Neto, whoever it is on the right side, to be a bit more creative, unloosen the shackles on them, I think we'll get something out of this game. Now, if we don't do that and we go with the 4-2-3-1 that we've seen pretty much most of this season, count your lucky stars if we walk off that pitch with 3 points. Because I don't see it myself. I don't see it myself. Forget top 4, forget top 5, forget Conference League, forget the Champions League. This is now just about pride for Chelsea. This is about winning games for the badge for the club. Forget about what competition you will end up in if you get to the top 4, top 5, or the Conference League. This is now about just winning games, installing some confidence in some of these players that clearly have not got any confidence. And it's also Maresca's, for me, this is D-Day now. If we don't win 5 out of those 6 games, him, Owen Stanley, Lawrence Stewart, they all need to go. And that's the message now to the end of the season. Chelsea fans are sick of these clowns running the club. Something has to change and it has to start from tomorrow. Big games coming up after that. Everton, Liverpool, Newcastle, United, Forest. Massive games. You would have said last weekend was the easiest out of them, but look how that turned out. So we have to win this game. No ifs, no buts. We have to win. If we don't, then more questions are going to be asked of Enzo Maresca. More questions are going to be asked. And there's no excuses now. You've watched all the other teams play today. The ones that are going to impact us where we finish in the league. So you have to win this game. Someone said on the live stream earlier, and I agreed with them, we're underdogs to Fulham. Underdogs. Chelsea Football Club are underdogs to Fulham. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. Underdogs. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you think. Let me know what your predicted lineups would be. Let me know what your predicted scoreline is. I'm sticking with my 4-1 prediction. Fulham win. Fortunately, I don't see where the goals are coming from Chelsea. If you're new, you haven't already, hit the Linktree link, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts and we'll be back soon with another video.